Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of STSL Off the Track. And it is now week 3 of Monster Trucks and Monster Jam. And before we get there, we're going to bring in our tonight's co host, starting off with Nafagen.
That is right. We got to experience another awesome week of monster trucks this weekend and can't wait to dive in and see what it's all about.
And also back with us here tonight is also Dorzy.
Yes, what a weekend it was for the week 3 of the Monster Jam season. Lots of surprise returns, fill-in drivers, and something special for the older fans.
That is right. And before we get kick off with the Monster Truck stuff, we're going to take you off into another news. Starting off with sports, this last weekend we had the NFL divisional rounds, and a lot of surprisingly good games happened here. For starters, Baltimore Ravens beat Houston Texans. Then we also had Detroit, and actually, no, we had San Francisco 49ers and Green Bay Packers. And it's, in a moment, the Packers had a would have had a probably a game-winning moment with a field goal that they if they did not miss. Uh, then we also had the Detroit Lions move on to the NFC Championship, beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then once again, and for the love of God, I hope they get beat this round. Kansas City Chiefs beat Buffalo Bills once again. Nothing surprising anymore, but that game was actually not bad. And so I'm gonna start off with Nothagen. What were your thoughts on last week's games?
Well, for starting off with just Baltimore, it was just a dominant win for the Ravens. No surprise there. Uh, Great win for the 49ers. The Packers hung in there with them, but a costly mistake by Jordan Love. 49ers host the NFC title game. Detroit Lions fans, y'all better enjoy this ride. They get to go to the NFC Championship game for the first time in forever. They've never made it to a Super Bowl before, and this will be probably their best chance in their entire franchise history. And Bills fans, their two least favorite words, wide right. It happened again. And the Chiefs, I mean, hats off to them. They played a good game going on against the Ravens. Patrick Mahomes' second playoff game on the road. He's got a tough test against Lamar Jackson.
And now, Dorsey, your thoughts onto the divisional games?
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of want the Lions to win the Super Bowl, and so far they're still in it, which I'm glad of. Hopefully they can make it to the Super Bowl. For me, I want the Ravens and the Lions. Those are my two now. Uh, but overall, the games, like what Lane said, basically two of the games two teams lost basically because of a missed field goal. Bills did the exact same thing. They could have tied it, and instead they missed, and the Chiefs win once again against the Buffalo Bills during the playoffs, which we watched the end of it. I was playing bowling at the time, and of course at the end of the screen or at the end of the bowling lanes where was the Chiefs and the Bills game, and I was so disappointed. But besides that, pretty solid games. The Packers looked really good. Uh, hanging in there with the one seed of the 49ers. And Detroit moving on was great. And then shout out to the Texans making it this far. But the Ravens are just right now unstoppable.
That is right. And then we have the games we have this Sunday, January 28th. We will have for the AFC Championship, the Kansas City Chiefs versus Baltimore Ravens. And then for the NFC Championship, for the first time ever, the Detroit Lions will face off against the San Francisco 49ers. And I want to take this off to you guys. I want to start off with Nafajan. Who is your pick? Who are your two picks for this to win this weekend?
For my picks, the Chiefs and the Ravens, I'm going to go with the Ravens. I mean, they're looking like the best team in the NFL right now, and they have Lamar Jackson, who is the front runner for the MVP. So I'm going to go with them to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And then for the NFC title game, that's really the tough one to pick. But I'm going to go with the 49ers and Brock Purdy to get there. I would love to see the Lions there as well. But for the home field advantage, give me the 49ers.
Yeah, I kind of already said my predictions that I want the Ravens and the Lions. I think the Ravens and the Chiefs game. I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be a blowout. I don't know how the Chiefs made it this far because a lot of people were saying like Mahomes has no receivers, and it was really showing. But Rashid Rice during the playoffs, and he's been looking really good. So you can't really count out the Chiefs for it. But the Lions and the 49ers, I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think it's going to come down to the last few seconds, maybe a missed field goal, just like the other two games.
And so my two picks here now, I think I've told you guys I do want a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl. But at the same time, I think that, at the same time, my dark horse is the Detroit Lions. So for the AFC Championship, I can say the Baltimore Ravens moving on. But for the NFC Championship, now both of these teams have been looking strong. But I think Detroit Lions are actually going to take the W here this weekend. So Ravens, Lions, Super Bowl.
Yeah, there's a chance that the 49ers might not have Debo for this weekend, so you have to take that as a factor.
Ah. All right. And then in other news, and starting off with some MLB news here in quite a while. So, first off, yesterday they announced quite a few names for the Hall of Fame class of 2024. And we're going to start off with Texas Rangers, former Texas Ranger Adrian Beltre. And then for the other names, we also have Joe Mauer from the Minnesota Twins. And then we will also have, for the first time and after trying for many years, and this is from my hometown's team. So for this man to be part of the Hall of Fame finally is awesome. It is Todd Helton after playing 17 years, number 17 for the Colorado Rockies. And actually, some fun facts since we talk about Knoxville Man quite a couple times here. This man, in 1994, was with Peyton Manning in the same football team for the Tennessee Vols. And I did talk with Nafajan just a little bit about this a while ago. I mean, obviously you know Peyton Manning, but you did not know about this. So how did you feel about that?
I feel like it's really awesome that also Peyton being able to share this moment with Todd. And I didn't really know who he was either. I especially didn't know that he also played football with Peyton Manning. So just an awesome moment for Todd. Awesome moment for Peyton to share that moment with Todd. It's just incredible.
Right on. And then I think we have some more baseball stuff going on here since they did have announced quite a few names here for the Dominican-born Hall of Famers. They had Adrian Beltre, Juan Marichal, Pedro Martinez, Vladimir Guerrero, and David Ortiz so far who are Dominican Hall of Famers. So what I see else here, stats looks great for these guys. Joe Mauer in the 2009 season, All Star, AL MVP, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger with .365 average, .444 OBP, first in the MLB, and then so on with 28 home runs, a career high, and 96 RBIs. And then for Todd Helton, uh, man, this guy was racking up some numbers back in the days with 315 plus average, .950 plus OPS, and 575 plus on doubles. That is Todd Helton for you guys. And so for that is MLB news and NBA news. What a crazy week actually. Because I believe it was the Minnesota was I don't remember. It was a Bucks. Hold on, let me look this up okay because I know there was it was a Milwaukee Bucks team that fired their first year head coach recently, and one of the names that came back is crazy because that man in question is Doc Rivers. And
I'll remember. I can't. I remember if we were seeing it. I remember we saw it, but I don't remember what team it was.
Yeah, it was Milwaukee Bucks, but I had to like
Milwaukee.
Yeah, to remember this on the fly. On to
That's
some.
crazy.
So back onto some NFL news actually, and it was just announced quite a few hours ago that Michigan coach, and he actually just won the title just a few weeks ago. Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh is signed with this Los Angeles Chargers. And what a full circle moment. I'm going to start off with Nafijan. What do you think about the news?
I'm actually not very surprised by this because there have been some rumor or speculation about Jim Harbaugh just going to the NFL in general. But I do believe that this is a good hire for Los Angeles. I mean, well, Jim Harbaugh, he used to be a quarterback for the San Diego Chargers. So I feel like this is definitely going to be a perfect scenario for Justin Herbert because since Jim was a former quarterback for several teams, I believe this is going to help Justin to finally be able to develop to be the quarterback that so many NFL fans have been waiting to see and asking themselves, when is Justin Herbert finally going to break out? I think that once Jim gets in there and starts teaching those boys up, especially Justin Herbert, I think they're going to do very well with Coach Harbaugh.
Then, Dorsey, your thoughts on the news?
Actually, this is my first time actually finding out because I didn't even know about this. But yeah, the Chargers team this year didn't look too high. Like a few years ago, I thought the Chargers were like one of the best teams with Justin Herbert. But this new signing, I think this will definitely improve. I hope they improve because this season looked really bad for the Chargers. So this might be a good step in the direction of signing Jim.
All right, and that is sports news. We're gonna move on to some wrestling news, starting off with the WWE. And I know Dorsey. I hope Dorsey actually kind of saw this. So the 2K24 cover has been revealed, and we actually got three of them.
Yes, sir.
So for the basic edition, we have the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes for that cover, which looks amazing in my opinion.
They all look really good.
And then for the deluxe editions, we have Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley on the deluxe edition cover for 2K24, which this looks also very awesome. And then on the other cover, we have the 40 years of WrestleMania cover, which honestly looks pretty cool. You have names such as The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, Roman Reigns, The Rock, just to name a few. And so I'm going to take it off to you, man. What were your thoughts on these covers?
Man, specifically on the deluxe and the normal one. These three superstars definitely deserve to be on the covers for this year. A lot of people thought Cody was going to be on the cover last year, and I guess they waited till this year. Maybe that's a sign for something good for Cody coming for this year. Maybe not. But even the females, even like Triple H saying like this is the first, like one of the first, or actually I think it is the first cover that it's an uh, all female cover. So, and congrats to the two women on it. They definitely deserve it after from phenomenal 2023 they had, and things are looking really hot right now for WWE, especially this weekend because the Royal Rumble is coming up, and I'm very excited to be watching that this Saturday.
So I actually want to talk about the Royal Rumble here with you for just a moment. With it being this Saturday, who is your pick? Who are your picks to win the women's and men's Royal Rumble?
Man, the women's one, I knew 100% I am going with Bayley on this one. She hasn't won the Royal Rumble yet, and I think they're going to kick her out of Damage Control, and I think it's going to be Io versus Bayley for the title. So I think that's 100%. That's what I thought, and that's what I'm sticking with. The men's Royal Rumble, I'm very excited for because they could be telling a lot of stories with this one. There are so many different winners, and this is what I like about this year's, because last year's was instantly, I think everyone knew it was going to be Cody, but this year could be so many different people, and especially they've only announced like 11 people, and like 4 of them definitely are contenders, but I have to go with CM Punk on this one. The thing is, we don't know what the future holds with Seth Rollins at the moment, but I think they're going to still try to do Punk versus Rollins for the world title.
Yeah, and I agree. So my pick for the women's Rumble, I don't know the whole. I mean, the whole thing of the Royal Rumble. It's like it's a surprise entrance guest entrance. But I think I'm gonna have to agree with Bailey. There's always been teases of damage control that they're gonna take over the leader that formed the group in the first place. We're kind of seeing this all over the place with WWE all the time. For the men's rumble, actually, so this one's hard for me to choose. As much as I want to say CM Punk, I also kind of want to say Cody Rhodes to win for it a second time. These
Yeah,
are
that's the only
for
problem I have.
yeah, that's the problem
I don't
we
know if they're
have.
gonna do 200 years in a row.
Right. For Cody, it's like if he goes on to win the Rumble, he'll go on obviously to face Roman. But if Punk wins, then I guess he'll go on to lead, fight, have a match with Seth at WrestleMania. But who knows? There's been talks going
Yeah,
around.
Gunther's another one.
Yeah, there's been talks going around about Cody may or may not face Roman, and it may be The Rock instead. Which it sounds awesome but scary at the same time. Like you said, also for Seth Rollins' injury, you know, it, um, it's up in the air. I think the one thing I did think is that he's probably gonna hold on to it until WrestleMania, whether Punk win or loses the Rumble. I mean, they're probably gonna face off anyway. But I think at Mania, and this is only my guess, at Mania, Seth is gonna drop the title to CM Punk. As far as for Cody Rhodes or The Rock facing Roman, who knows?
Yeah. There was like another thought that I had in my mind, which I highly doubt would happen, was that Rock would just cost Roman the title at the Rumble, and then they'll just face off without the title because they don't need the title for this match. But
Right.
unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna happen. They're just gonna do it for the title anyways.
I mean, if it was for the title, probably Roman would have won. Because we've seen this for like the last almost 4 years now. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is the fourth WrestleMania.
Yeah, this is the fourth WrestleMania with, and actually, yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, Edge and Bryan. Then it was Brock, and then Cody, and then this will be the fourth one.
I mean, yeah, that's right. True, yeah, that's right. Which is crazy to think about because we've never really seen anything like it. And the storyline so far has been a roller coaster. Roller coaster. It's been up and down, but at the same time, it's been very emotional at the same time. But who knows what's going on? We'll probably find out after this Saturday, and then we'll find out sometime soon after Elimination Chamber from Perth, Australia as well. But who knows? We'll see what happens this Saturday. Royal Rumble this Saturday, January 27th, only on Peacock. And that is about it for in other news. And now we'll start going.
Oh, and Monday Night Raw is moving to Netflix next year is one major thing that I just want to say.
Oh yeah, I did.
January 2025.
Yeah, that is
crazy.
I woke up to that and I was like, this has got to be a dream or something. This can't be real.
Yeah, there's really
with SmackDown going to USA next year as well, and then NXT is going to CW this year as well, and to see Raw is going to Netflix, not bad actually. It's kind of cool. I was a little intrigued by it, but now the more I think about it, it's like what, in the long run, it actually might help them out with Netflix especially.
Yeah.
So that is as far. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, there's not much else to talk about. It's just that it's definitely something that I thought I would never see.
Yeah. And so that is in other news. Now we're moving on to some monster trucks. Starting off with week 3, the shows we had for Independence. Starting off with the Kicker Monster Truck Tour in Bossier City, Louisiana. We had the Waters team there, Black Stallion under Mike Waters, Higher Education with Chris DeHoyos, Jurassic Attack with Tim Hall Jr., Kamikaze with Joe Uri, Overkill Evolution with Mikey Waters, Taurus with Steve Thompson, and then No Limits Monster Trucks in Gonzales, Louisiana. We had Geronimo with Brandon Swick, King Crunch with Sean Duhan. Actually, hold on. Now that we're mentioning Sean Duhan, that was crazy finding out that this man is still driving. Um, this past weekend with on. I have to go over to my other account. Sean Duhan was driving King Crunch, and apparently it was under his old truck, the Colts Energy truck. And then we also had Outlaw Wrangler with Ryan Dietrich, Thrill Billy with Thomas Kimmins, and then for Monster Trucks All Out in Mississauga, Ontario, we had Bucking Bronco with Perry Como, Canadian Crusher with Sharon Lubson, Sheriff with Kevin Lubson, SWAT with Mike Worsley, and Wadded Up with Ethan Nuttall. And then we had the Hot Wheels Monster Truck Tour in Uniondale, New York, and Glasgow, United Kingdom. Then we also had the 2X. I gotta remind myself, it's not 2Extreme, that's the team. 2X Monster Trucks live tour in Grand Island, Nebraska, with Bounty Hunter with Rob Potter behind the wheel, Mike Brister under a hot tamale, Don Crean with Scarlet Bandit, and then Dan Dahlgren in Shark Bite. And then we had Monster Truck Wars in Clemson, South Carolina, and Duncan, Oklahoma. And then we had this tour is, skyrocketing at the moment. This is the All Star Monster Truck Tour from Davie, Florida, and the lineup, the lineup consisted of Colossus, Elliot Miller, Crazy Train, Triton Robbins, Little Miss Dangerous, Athena Kozel, Plain Crazy Montana Robbins, Terminal Velocity, John Zimmer Jr., and then Uproar with John Zimmer. And actually want to talk about this tour for a minute. Boy, did the action look hot out there. I want to start off
Yes, sir.
with Nafijen. What did you think of the action that we had this past weekend for Davie, Florida?
Yeah, these all-star monster trucks, they are going off, and especially in a small floor space like Davy. Like John Zimmer Jr. was still getting stoppies and bicycles every which way. Elliot Miller had some wild moments here and there, but I knew this was going to be one of the best independent tours this year, and I can't wait to check them out later this in March in Tennessee. But these guys and gals are getting it done.
Now, I also want to take it over to Dorsey. Did you see any of the videos from All Star this past weekend?
Yes, I did. Courtesy of Monster Truck Rails, Armando was there, and yeah, Crazy Train was looking really good. Won a lot of the skills competition there, or best trick, or whatever they call it there. Uh, One of my favorite moments was the zoom in of Elliot Miller just posing to the camera of Armando's, and then completely just tipping over when he's trying to do a stoppie. But funny moments like that will always get people into the industry like that. And right now, I haven't seen like a point update on All Stars Instagram page yet, so I don't know what the points are looking at. I'm assuming Sendin Motorsports are still in the top two, but this has been like probably the best All Star has ever looked.
Yeah, I kind of agree. As I'm looking at the videos here too, it looked intense. With Elliot Miller's rollover, it looked awesome. With the shot, close up shot was very funny too. Um, All Star, I think it looks better than ever. Uh, Last year they had some fierce competition, but this year they have some tougher competition with especially with the Zimmers now in the tour. Uh, but other than that, yeah, All Star looked awesome. And we'll move on to the other uh, tour we had this last weekend in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And this lineup consisted of Darren Basil driving Blockhead, Jerry Beck with Dirt Crew Dozer under Downtown Jack Brown, Maximus with Travis Groth, Tim Jones with Tailgater, and we'll talk about Tailgater here in just a moment. And then Colorado's own, the veteran, under Tyler Groth. And boy, howdy. Let's talk about Tailgater here for a moment, actually.
And Tim M.F. Jones. That's all I gotta say.
Tailgater broke a lot of bones this past weekend. And ligaments.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, looking
and
at
literally
that,
everything
so
in a truck.
here on the video version, uh, courtesy of Zachary and Caden, Alan, our boys, duo. Oh my god, this video looks insane. Even on the group chat, they're with us. They were saying that that was the most insane wreck they've ever seen in their entire lives, or in a show entirely. Um, During freestyle, Tim Jones, and I believe this was show 3 Saturday night, correct? Either
I believe
show,
so. Yes.
yeah, I believe so. This is show 3. So Saturday night freestyle with Tim Jones and Telegator decides to back it up, and as you can see here, breaks the entire rear end. And I guess they said on during after the interview, Scott Keane asked him, "What are you looking into here?" And he said about thousands of dollars of damage. Which,
It was brutal.
oh yeah,
That whole back half just completely was facing a different direction from the truck.
yeah, that looks awesome. Maybe not for Tim Jones, but he gave something the fans wanting to remember something about that night.
Yeah, it's crazy how that break happened. I didn't feel like he went that hard into that jump. He just went backwards and then just really landed wrong, and somehow it managed to just break all the back of the truck, all the back half of the truck.
Yeah, we're getting more shots here of the veteran with an awesome sky wheelie over the crush cars. As one of the lines you've been saying lately, what were you been saying from a certain video game, Nuff?
What was that?
What certain lines about crush cars have you been saying lately?
Oh yeah, those are all the games from Activision era, regular 2007 game, Urban Assault,
Good old
Path of
Urban
Destruction,
Assault.
cruising over those crush cars, really flying across those cars.
Huge air.
That's definitely the end of the road for those cars.
That run was left to be desired, or something. I forgot what it. Something like
That
that.
insane performance clinches the freestyle win.
Man, I feel old knowing all these lines.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, it's like I almost remember most of these in my head daily.
Do you guys still own that game on like any console?
Yep, the DS and the Wii.
Yes, sir. Same here.
So I actually own almost every Monster Jam game except for Monster 4x4. I own Maximum Destruction, the 2007 game, and Urban Assault for the PS2. Path of Destruction for the PS3. Unfortunately, I don't know if you would count this. I have played the mobile game. I also do own Battlegrounds, unfortunately. And then
Mobile game.
for research purposes, just last year actually, I bought Crush It for the PS4, and then also
Such a terrible game.
I know I did. I haven't even.
You can
played
do
it.
triple backflips and barrel rolls without hitting a single obstacle.
Literally.
And you can jump out of the stadium.
Yeah, I've done that.
And then I also, of course, own Steel Tines and Steel Tines 2, the namesake of this league. But other than that, we'll see what upcoming Monster Jam game we get soon. Hopefully soon. I don't know when. But in that, we're starting to move on into some Monster Jam news. Now we had all 5 arenas run this weekend, and now we're gonna start off with Reno, Nevada. And actually, so last weekend we were doing a podcast episode during a few of these shows, and we're trying to find out about what was going on Reno. And so I'll go through them quickly here. So we had 5 shows this past weekend, starting off with the Friday show, the very, very same show we actually wanted to find out while we were doing this episode. So for racing, your winner was the Velociraptor, and I believe this was Jeff Souza under Velociraptor defeating Tony Oaks in Thunder Roars. For the skills challenge,
You are correct.
For the skills challenge, it was Thunder Roars. For the donut competition, it was Gravedigger. For freestyle Thunder Roars, and ending Friday night with 29 points is Thunder Roars. On Saturday afternoon, show 2, Gravedigger defeats El Toro Loco on racing. In skills, it is once again picked up by Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars. For donut, it is Ashley Sanford and Megalodon. For freestyle, it is MJ Solorio and El Toro Loco. But ending the day with 25 points overall is Brandon Vincent. Oh, right, 1 point over El Toro Loco. And then show 3 Saturday evening, Brandon Vincent and Gravedigger defeats Ashley Sanford and Megalodon in racing. So far he's 2 for 3 in racing so far. Thunder Roars gets the skills challenge, so he's 3 for 3 so far. Dalton Widener, Jurassic Attack gets the donut competition win. And then once again, 2 for 3 is Thunder Roars and Tony Oaks. But once again, the overall goes to Gravedigger with 27 points. Now moving on to show 4. Sunday afternoon here in Reno. Brandon Vincent defeats James Calhoun in Earthshaker. For skills, it is once again Thunder Roars. Holy, Tony. And then for donut, it was Gravedigger. And then for freestyle, it is Thunder Roars once again. But it's still not enough, as Thunder Roars is only 2 points short of taking the overall because Gravedigger took it with 27. And then the last show of the weekend, Sunday evening, Gravedigger defeats Knoxville man Dalton Widener and Jurassic Attack for racing. Skills goes to Gravedigger, and finally, for the first time this whole week, skills goes to Gravedigger. Donut competition goes to El Toro Loco. Freestyle once again to Gravedigger. And then ending the weekend with 4 of the 5 overalls here is Brandon Vincent and Gravedigger with 30 points. Now we're moving on.
Yeah, even though Brandon took home 4 of the overalls, Tony went hard this weekend in Reno, taking most of the skills in the freestyle wins.
Yeah, and then so next up we have Baltimore, Maryland in the CFG Bank Arena. And who would like to go up next for this one?
No, I can do it. Because this first show was, we already announced the overall for this one because it was happening during the podcast last week. Cody Saucier took home the racing and the freestyle win. Racing is once again timed racing for this tour. So far, they still haven't even done stand racing yet. For the skills win, Armando Castro took the win. And her first, well, of course we said it last week, but I'll say it again. But her first career Monster Jam win, Angelina Knock took home the donut competition, which Cody Saucier took home the overall event champion, tie-in with Zach Garner and Armando Castro with 24. But of course, Cody gets the win by having the higher freestyle score. Moving on to Saturday afternoon, Armando Castro took home the timed racing competition. He also took home the skills competition. Zach Garner and Wildside picks up, I believe, his first win of the season with the donut competition, and Armando Castro took home the freestyle and took home the overall event championship. For the third show of the weekend, Saturday evening, Cody Saucier once again takes home the timed racing competition, and Tristan Anderson picks home the skills competition. Zach Garner picks up a second donut competition, 2 in a row, and then Kristen takes home the freestyle and the overall event championship. So far, we're with 3 different people so far with overalls. And for the last show, Cody once again picks up a third timed racing win. And then Armando takes home the skills and the donut competition. And Cody Saucier picks up the freestyle competition, 2 each for Cody and Armando. But for the overall event championship, went home to Armando Castro only by 1 point from Cody Saucier.
What a great weekend for both Armando and Castro. I think Kristen and Gravedigger are starting to look at some trouble rising up and the points standings. And we'll look at that here in just a moment. But other than that, we also have Arena Championship Series East from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, from the Fiserv Forum. And then, Knopf, would you like to go over this one?
I sure would. So the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that's where the third weekend of Arena Championship Series Central took place. And three shows, wait, let's see. Oh, four shows actually over the weekend. Two on Saturday and two on Sunday. So starting off with the first event, Saturday afternoon, your racing winner. It was Jamie Sullivan, Monster with Dalmatian, defeating Just Get Her Done 2. Your two-wheel skills winner is Weston Anderson and Gravedigger. And just to make things faster, he also won Donuts Freestyle and the overall. What a surprise. Going on the Saturday evening, your racing winner. This time it is Weston Anderson defeating Just Get Her Done 2. Your Great Clip Skills winner is Fernando Martinez and El Toro Loco. Jamie Sullivan, Monster Mutt Dalmatian, wins both Donuts and Freestyle, which gives her the edge to win the overall. Your Sunday afternoon show, your racing finals, Fernando Martinez defeats Weston Anderson and Gravedigger. Your skills winner is Weston Anderson. Donut competition win goes to Jamie Sullivan and the Dalmatian. And getting her first win this weekend, Brianna Mahan gets Scooby Doo in the winner's circle, winning freestyle. But via tiebreaker in freestyle with the higher score, Weston Anderson gets the overall event win. Your racing finals on Saturday or Sunday night. It's an all-female showdown. Jamie Sullivan defeats Scooby Doo's Brianna Mahan. Your Great Clip Skills winner, Donut, freestyle, and overall winner is Weston Anderson. So a pretty good weekend for a teeny man, picking up 3 out of the 4 overalls.
Now, I do want to talk about one certain individual here, and that is Jamie Sullivan. And actually, throughout the week, she's actually been looking more impressive. And compared to last year, I think she's starting to finally get more comfortable behind the truck. Um, and I think just this pat, I know she completed her first backflip in Kansas, but she did one here as well. As I'll pull up Monster Jam pages here pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Jamie
while you're
Sullivan.
doing that, I just want to. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
We'll just add something that, especially her racing, is really improved right now. For my stats chart over here, she's right now 20-5 in racing right now.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Jamie Sullivan has been. I know last week I actually did call it. With consistency, Jamie Sullivan will pick up a few wins. I think I did predict an overall. I don't think she got one here. Actually, no, I think I
She
might
got
have.
one.
She did get one, but I think I've been not even guessing, just watching this whole time. Jamie Sullivan, before she even was in Monster Jam, she did drive under FTI Torque with Razor Cane Monster Trucks for a little. In her first year, she kind of had it tough out there with Arena East, but this year with Arena Central, she's looking pretty awesome out there, if I say so myself.
Yeah, I think she's gonna make her World Finals debut this year with the impressive run she's had so far. I know it's only 3 weeks in, but if she's gonna keep continuing to perform like this, I think she's gonna keep doing it. Or I think she's gonna make it to the World Finals. And just to add one more thing for that second show, someone named Fernando Martinez actually broke a streak because Weston has taken home every skills competition until Fernando took home that one in the second show.
Yeah, and then don't forget about Brandon Tulashka and Just Get Her Done second generation making the finals twice in the same day, which is actually not. I mean, besides Weston making it 3 times and winning most of them actually. Uh, I think Arena Central we're kind of underestimating a little bit too much. You know, we're all saying that might as well give Weston the title or the series went, right away. But Sullivan is right behind him right there, and then all the other drivers, the Tolochka is actually holding on, especially Brandon. Last year he had No, actually, last year he was in East, right? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, yeah, he was with Jamie last year as well.
Yeah,
I
so
think he finished sixth, so he wasn't too good of a season.
but this year he's not looking too bad. We're looking to the points here. We'll see, about that. But Central is not looking actually, as bad as we thought it would be. It's looking pretty much
Yeah,
fine.
no, I thought Weston was gonna just take this home. I thought it was gonna be the opposite. I thought Arena West was gonna be the one that was gonna be a lot closer than people thought, but instead it's the other way around.
Yeah, and then I mean Sullivan, I'm still gonna say this right now. As long as she's consistent, I think she'll be probably stay in the top two throughout the season. Now as for about World Finals debut, I don't know about that. If Showdown was still around, she probably would have made there last year and maybe this year. But who knows? Chris Kohler got his start in his rookie year too. For the role in his first World Finals. But who knows? We'll see. And now we move on from Central. Now, actually, that was all the arenas. Now we'll move on to stadiums. And we'll start off with one of the shows we actually kind of forgot about because let's be honest, time zones are a kind of a thing that just exists sometimes. If you're in the East, you forget about the West sometimes. Even in my case, I kind of forget about West sometimes, but in this case, just because Stadium East is the bigger competition for stadiums, West is not looking too dominant. But I know Dorsey probably has something else to say about that. And would you like to go over that?
Which one am I going over? Anaheim?
Anaheim.
All right, so Anaheim, California, the show that I completely forgot even existed. It was basically a mud fest for both shows, because Arena East was just hyped, and a lot of people were hyped about a certain thing that we'll go over later. But to start off the first show, Saturday evening, it was the battle between the Andersons. Ryan Anderson took the win over his older brother Adam. And for the skills competition, Ryan also took home that as well. And Adam Anderson took home the freestyle win. But Adam, only by 1 point, actually took home the overall event championship from his little brother by 1 point. And for the second show, we had Camden Murphy beat Colt Stevens in the finals of racing. For the skills competition, Ryan went 2 for 2, taking home that. And for freestyle, your reigning world finals champion, freestyle champion, Colt Stevens and Thunder Roars picked home. I don't know why I keep saying pick. Took home the freestyle win for the Sunday show, but Camden Murphy, looking really strong against the Andersons, took home the overall event championship with 33 points. And yeah, I don't really remember any highlights with this show at all.
And actually, let me pull those up here. I do remember who actually has uh, clips uh, for Anaheim. Actually, just pull it up here real
Yeah,
quick.
Caleb Blood ran into one of the
Oh,
JCB trucks.
we'll see.
Oh, that's
We'll see
interesting.
if she'll make it back next weekend or not. But Anaheim looked like a time.
I didn't even know that even happened. So
There was definitely mud.
there was a lot of mud. For some reason, Stadium West is getting all the mud shows.
No, it's just Anaheim is getting all the rain whenever there's red paint on the track. Same thing happened last year.
First week, where were they the first week? And it was San Fran, wasn't there?
Yeah.
The last year they were in Oakland. Well, Stadium Series Red was in Oakland.
The first show this year for Stadium West, it was San Fran, Oracle Park, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, for this year.
Yeah, and that rained out. Well, the first show, I believe.
So yeah, basically another Mudfest every time Stadium Red goes to California because this is now the second year straight. Last year it carried on actually with both stadiums tours last year. When Stadium Blue was in San Diego, they got rained out the first two shows. Uh, Stadium Red got rained out in Oakland. And then this year's Stadium Red so far has been rained out too, starting with San Fran and Anaheim so far. Luckily, they got dry in San Diego, but even San Diego this last week got rained too, where the AMA Supercross was at just recently. So California and dirt shows definitely do not mix. Now I'm gonna have to see. I know we were just talking about that clip of Kayla smashing into a JCB truck. I'm gonna have to look look through that for a moment, because I know it's somewhere around, and I think it's one of the STSL discords. I just hope it's not too far up, right? Uh, don't you know waste time on it. Let me see that real quick.
The only thing that I can think about for this weekend in Anaheim was that everyone was doing the maximum moonwalk because of the rain.
True.
Yeah, that pretty much. Like Ryan Anderson did it. I think it worked best for him.
Yeah, I think Camden did it show too.
Yeah, that too. There's just a lot of mud and failed backflips because of the mud, but it was definitely a weekend.
Colt Stevens looked strong in show two, but man, the points tour in this show that we'll go over a little later is looking really strong right now.
Yeah, we're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
go.
and Ryan Anderson too. He was at 7th place, I think, like after the first week, and now he's in the top 3. So good comeback for Ryan.
Can't say the same thing about Bari though.
Yeah, that's been unfortunate. What Barry's been through these last few weeks.
It hasn't even really been his fault either.
Still looking through. I know it's somewhere around. Nova did post it. Uh, Basically gonna have to ask him to start sending me over clips every weekend. Um, Now, if I don't find it, we'll just might as well start talking about it. So Kayla straight up so after completing a jump, while it's still muddy, obviously. Oh, here I go. Okay, I found it. So I'll show it here. So in this clip, she straight up after completing a jump. Well, I mean, I don't know why she still floored it right there, thinking it's gonna turn right away. She last minute steps on the brakes. Excuse me, choke. And straight up hits a JCB equipment truck, and that's a big no honestly. So who knows if we'll see Kayla Blood back next weekend. We'll probably for sure see her, the weekend after, but you know, maybe might as well send the man back in that was just at uh, Houston this past weekend.
Yeah, we're about to see the return of Chad Fortune.
But yeah, honestly, like, who knows? We'll see Kayla. Hopefully, it's just a one-time thing. Sometimes we know that when it comes to things like that, drivers do get in trouble. Uh, but that I believe that is some things from Anaheim. Like I said, Anaheim is probably a little bit more forgettable. They are back in 2 weeks or next weekend, I should say. But we'll move on to the more interesting show, and that is from not San Antonio. That is just up the road from San Antonio. However, that is Houston, Texas, at the NRG Stadium, home of the losing Houston Texans. In Virginia, would you like to go through them?
Absolutely. So let me pull it up here. Monster Jam returns to one of the more coveted venues in Monster Jam, Houston, Texas NRG Stadium, the city where Maximum Destruction made its debut. And for this week, the Maximum Destruction body made its return, the full original body. So starting off with the Saturday evening show, your racing finals, Tyler Meninga and Gravedigger defeated Cole Vennard and the Black Pearl. Your two-wheel skills winner is Tristan England in the JCB Diggertron. Your freestyle winner tonight is Tom Mentz himself, pulling off a vintage Maximum Destruction run, getting a score of 9.809. The freestyle win, but Tyler Meninga with 33 points gets the overall event championship. Moving on to Sunday afternoon, your racing finals. Tyler Meninga gets another win, this time defeating Ryan Disharoon in the Turtle Box Shaker thing. Moving on to the two-wheel skills competition, it is Tom Mentz getting it with a 9.527. And your freestyle competition winner is John Gordon in the Bad Company, in which he had a backflip rebound to sidewall save. Very good for him. But with 34 points and sweeping the overalls this week is Meninga and Gravedigger.
I will say, I think this was definitely like the best stadium weekend out of the few that we've had so far for the season.
Oh yeah,
Definitely
without
so
a doubt.
far. So I did want to talk about show one. Let's talk about first off. Let's talk about Maximum Destruction, not Max D. Maximum Destruction. Uh, the birthplace of where, the birth. I mean, the first original debut back in 2003. In the very same place. And I'll pull up here Wayne's account in just a moment. So let's talk about it. Now, I did say this the last time that seeing Maximum Destruction and the modern day setting is just so perfect. Um, NFC got a picture here. So by Wayne,
It's such a cool sight to see.
it is just an awesome sight to see, and it's like we got turned back in time. But with seeing the BKTs on it, it's just so cool. And then we'll talk about more about how he did in freestyle and skills. Um, more importantly in skills, because oh my god, Tom, 2012 called and they said they were not done. They're back in business. On this
I
same,
will say for that first skills show, I think Todd was a little bit robbed on it. I think he should have gotten the win because he had a beautiful bicycle to moonwalk.
yeah, that's I didn't see the skills from show one, but that freestyle from show one is something else. Like it's like if Maximum Destruction was back as in business. It's like that body. As soon as that body came back on, Tom reconnected back with it, and you know what? And on this video version right now, as he's doing the maximum moonwalk or the slap walk, as some people would like to call, mixing the old style with the retro body, it's just so fitting. It's just really fitting. And also, the one thing here as well, seeing him, with that crazy save was so cool. I don't know what else to say.
But in the freestyle run,
Yeah.
yeah, the crazy. I think he only did like 2 hits or something like that, and then turned the truck to the left and just probably overturned it, and then had 2 crazy sidewalls saved, and had like the biggest air probably of all weekend of that entire weekend on that last hit.
Yeah, it's been an awesome weekend for Thomas. Getting back to Houston where he debuted the truck in the first place and just going all out.
And then we'll talk about show two here. Besides Gravedigger defeating the Turtle Box Shaker, so we'll talk about the skills from show two from Maximum Destruction where he got the win. So let's talk about that. Seeing that maximum moonwalk and then slap walk right after, like again, it's like if nothing else, it's like it never left. But with the new current style that Tom drives is, you know, it's just so awesome to see. And then something else I
Man,
actually
just
did.
seeing everyone reacting like originally to the reveal, and everyone basically just reliving their childhood. It was such a cool moment to see.
To bring it back in Houston was really a no-brainer. And let's actually want to bring up about the crew shirts too. It is just the current Max D crew shirt, but with the old logo and the old face on there. And if they sell these at World Finals, you can, you'll bet I'm gonna buy like 20 of these. And then also did want to bring up about Freestyle Show 2, starting off with Colvin Nards and Black Pearl reverse backflip, almost completed it. But what were you guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I
And
was
he said he was
surprised
gonna
that
do it.
I was surprised they allowed him to do it in a normal stadium event and almost got it, but just had a bad balance that caused him to over rotate and land on the roof. But that was still insane.
Man, Cole called his shot. He said, uh, "Will I do it?" Or I forgot what specifically was like, "Should I do it?" And everyone's saying, "You won't do it." And show two, he went out. He basically completed, but unfortunately, like what Jeremy said, had a bad bounce at the end, and basically flipped it again and landed unfortunately wrong. But uh, it was honestly wild to see, just like at a normal show.
And then one more thing to mention here out of Freestyle Show 2 was Bad Company's winning move, or winning for the winning freestyle, that backflip to like cartwheel kind of save. John Gordon, my guy. What? I swear you and Texas are like nice to each other. Texas, I mean, most specifically Arlington is always nice to you, but Houston here, that was something else.
And John Gordon, what a fantastic weekend he had. He placed second both shows for the overall, and he jumped all the way to fourth in points right now. He's only 5 points behind the professor, and it's already looking like a really good start to his season.
Yeah, so far, Tyler Meninga has fierce competition other than Tristan England, Tom Mentz, and John Gordon. And actually did want to talk. Actually, we almost forgot to talk about this guy, Charlie Pocken, who got to drive Lucas Stabilizer this past weekend.
Yeah, he had a
Yes,
pretty
sir.
solid 2 shows.
Great to have the Chucky back.
And something else that was kind of wild was the Rod Ryan truck. Originally, Mike Pagliarulo was going to drive it in show one, and unfortunately, they were having problems with the Kraken truck, so they just took the Jester body off, and they just put the Rod Ryan body, and Matt Pagliarulo drove it, and then Mike came back in the Kraken truck, and then with no body, so he was just, and then show two, they decided to just put the Rod Ryan truck back on Kraken, and now Jester was there for show two. So if it's a little confusing on the website, because it says that Matt Pagliarulo drove Rod Ryan, he only drove it from show one, and then Mike drove it in show two.
Definitely the body swap of all time.
Yeah, I was reading all that on Friday and Saturday night. I was all confused. No, Saturday night, I mean. I was reading all that and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, they still have Nick's face up there, like he was driving Kraken, even though he hasn't driven yet this year.
Yeah. And then so I'd want to bring back Charlie Pocket and Lucas Stabilizer. I know actually not. I know like Dorzy likes to talk all about Charlie Pocket in the international because he's schooling all of the new guys. Even if they've been there for quite a while, but Pocket is something else. Pocket is packing. Um, in Houston, he actually showed up. Did not get a win, and we all thought he would, but he probably racked up some points for Stabilizer this past weekend. I did see somewhere that he did a bicycle with stabilizer. I believe show one.
He did. Stabilized doing a bicycle. I thought I would never see that.
Yeah, some people are saying
Well,
that
there you go.
some people are saying that Lindsey Reed could never. But Charlie Palkin, who knows? We'll see him again next weekend, or back in the internationals. But who knows? Maybe some point, sometime, we'll see him again. But other than that, that is all the shows we had this last week, and now we'll move on to the points. We'll look over to the points of this championship series, of each championship series. And we're gonna start off with Stadium Series West. And I'm gonna go off the Instagram one because the website is always inaccurate. So your current leader.
This time, they're both the same.
So your current leader for Stadium West is Gravediggers Adam Anderson with 108. Camden Murphy is only 2 points behind with 105. Ryan Anderson in third after fighting a battling position for third against Corey Rummel and Megalodon. Ryan now has 81 and Corey Rummel has 77. And then the Row Finals Freestyle Champion Colt Stevens Thunderwarriors with 68. That is your top 5 for Stadium Series West. On to Stadium Series East, the more interesting tour. Right now, your current leader, and by God help us, Tyler, and I know Dorsey's going to agree with me. Tyler Meniga Gravedigger with 132. Tristan England with a 24-point difference with the JCB Diggertron with 108 points. Tom Menson third with 95. John Gordon only 5 points short from Max D with 90. And then Bryce Kenny with the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior with 89. And then for Arena West, Brandon Vincent is still your leader with 381. Tony Oaks and Thunder Warriors with 305. Dalton Widener with 270. Ashley Sanford 237. And then MJ Solorio shares the same spot with Ashley Sanford and Megalodon with the same total of points. And on to Arena East.
That tour's basically done.
Right now, we don't have an all Gravedigger lead because for East, it is Armando Castro and El Torloco leading the tour with 152. Right behind is Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger with 148, and right behind her with 2 points, under 2 points, is Dragons Cody Saucier, 146, and then Zach Garner and Wildside with 111. And the Chad Tingler, look at that man go, with Overboard with 98 points. And then for Arena Series Central, and this is probably the most interesting arena series of them all, under my eyes. Weston Anderson so far leading with 264. The consistent Jamie Sullivan with Dalmatian 231. Brandon Tulashka just got her done too with 188. Fernando Martinez 184 with El Toro Loco, and then Brianna Mahan with Scooby Doo in 167. That is your top 5 for each series. Now I'm going to start off with some thoughts here after week 3. Now, Jenna, what was your thoughts after week 3 so far?
Week 3 was pretty good, seeing the action from the arena setting, especially Reno and the big floor they have there. Milwaukee had some good action as well as Baltimore. Anaheim, there was mud. And then there was Houston. Yeah. And Houston, everybody just went off, especially Tom Mintz, man.
Yeah, for me, Stadium East is just Tyler. And that's it. He so far has taken every overall event championship. But, Houston was definitely the best, like what I said before, the best stadium weekend so far this season. Same thing with Jeremy. Stadium West show, Anaheim was just mud. That's all I can think of.
That's the star of the show. Arenas, it's mud.
It's just mud. And then for arenas, I'm excited for Arena East. I think this tour is definitely gonna come down to the final weekend between the top 3 drivers. And if Zach Garner, he's not that far behind. If he can make it up there too, I think the top 4 is gonna battle it out to the very end. And then Arena West, it's just going to be Brandon Vincent. He literally has like an over 70-point lead. I'm pretty sure he's just going to wrap it up. And then same thing like what Lane said, Arena Central is going to be very interesting. And I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think it will be.
And now, before we move on into next weekend, talking about next weekend, Stadium East will be in St. Louis, Missouri, this upcoming weekend, and the whole thing of Tom's last season is that he's going to be driving different bodies throughout the week, and so far he's given us the split personality body with Max D 20th anniversary and original Maximum Destruction, and then Houston this past weekend we got the OG body Maximum Destruction. Now I'll make a prediction here. What body is he going to be using for St. Louis this weekend?
That's a good question.
Man, there's really no telling, but hopefully either gold or something chrome. That'd be pretty
Yeah,
cool to see.
I think the spikes are going to make a return. It's going to be, I'm going to say the red one. I believe Neil Elliott drove the red one, the red Max D.
Yeah, the Cherry Road
Like,
one.
yeah, I think that's the one that's going to make, it's going to, that's the truck, is what I'm thinking.
Now, I'm thinking a little bit outside the box here because the way I see it, he used Maximum Destruction in Houston. And now there's no certain I don't know if there's certain bodies that he's going to use for in each city, but I think he's going by the years here. So I think next up, and I'm just calling this out right now. We're getting onto 3D faces, but I think he's gonna move on to the Max D 10th anniversary glow body.
Ooh,
Mm.
So,
I'd love to see that.
just my thought out here, just because I think he's going by the years. Uh, but if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I can't wait to see what other body. But imagine he uses Maximum Destruction once again.
So we're thinking outside the box. So I think he's going to make a return in Monster Patrol. No, I'm kidding.
No, man, he's going to return in Goldberg. What are you talking about?
Now he's gonna bring back Bulldozer. What do you mean?
No, man, he's definitely going to drive that one truck that he filled in for back in 1998.
Oh.
Gravedigger.
You know, yeah, Gravedigger. He's going to drive a second Gravedigger.
Yeah,
Probably is gonna be easier for him to rack up points. A front engine Gravedigger, imagine.
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
that'd be sick. That'd be great.
A Willman chassis painted green.
All right. So the next shows we have this upcoming weekend for week 4, we have the Extreme Spring Nationals Monster Truck Tour in Alexandria, Louisiana. The tour will consist of Animal House, driven by Faith Freed, Dysfunctional by Shane Freed, Fatal Attraction by Jeff Murphy, Kicking and Screaming with an unannounced driver soon, Outlaw, Outlaw Wrangler by Ryan Dietrich, and then Prime Time with Justin Murphy. And then we have the Ram Motorsports Spectacular in Regina, Saskatchewan. We have the Cali Kid driven by Travis Ibarra and Bill Payne. Identity Theft will be driven by Marvin Anderson, or good old Gravedigger, as someone we know would like to call it. The Napa Auto Parts Monster Truck, or as I like to call it, the Chase Elliott Monster Truck. Just kidding. Driven by Carson Williams. Rockstar, driven by Bill Payne. And then Spitfire, driven by Dallas Glenn Rogers. And then for the MAP Motorsports in Springfield, Illinois, we have the DCT Power Speeds crew back again this weekend with Darren Beazle under Blockhead, Jerry Beck with Dirt Crew Dozer with Downtown Jack Brown, Geronimo with Brandon Swick, Tim Jones, Intelligator, and then War Wizard with RJ Turner. And then for the No Limits Monster Trucks in Salisbury, Maryland, Aftershock will be driven by Cal Seasock. Air Mail will be driven by Jordan Fisher. Excavator by Gage Bursey. Illuminator by Corey Snyder. Playing Hooky by J.R. Seasock. Toxic is unknown, or to be announced, I should say. And then Virginia Giants will be driven by Cliff Vowell. And then for the we have 3 Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live tour shows, and one of them will be in Knoxville, Tennessee, and our boy Nofagen will be ready for the Nofagen Hot Wheels show. In for Knoxville will be Cody Holman driving 5 Alarm, Cody Smith for Bigfoot, Preston Perez in Bone Shaker, Taylor Holman, Demo Derby, Mike Mentor, Gangster, Devin Wheeler with Mega Rex, Bobby Holman in Tiger Shark, and then for the Hoffman Estates, Illinois, we have Joe Cipher under 5 Alarm, Scott Denuser with Bigfoot, Clint Watson, Bone Shaker, Dylan Bartz with Demo Derby, Ricky Fowler, Gangster, Michael Phelps, Mega Rex, and Ashton Jensen with Tiger Shark. And then in overseas, we have Lion France with Craig Christensen driving 5 Alarm, Rebecca Schnell, Bigfoot, Nick Migas, and Bone Shaker, Allison Patrick with Demo Derby, Darren Schnell, Gangster, Rex Steffens and Mega Rex, and Anthony Ritter with Tiger Shark. And then for the 2X Monster Trucks Live Tour, we are in the Mojave Valley, Arizona. Rob Potter is under Bounty Hunter, Mike Brister with Hot Tamale, Don Crean, Scarlet Bandit, Dan Dahlgren with Shark Bite. And then for Monster Truck Wars, we have 3 shows, and I'm trying to get through most of these pretty quick. One in Perry, Georgia, Battle Creek, Michigan, and Martin, Tennessee. And then we have the All-Star Monster Truck Tour, the Rising Hot Monster Truck Tour for Independence in Pensacola, Florida, with the same lineup as last week. Elliot Miller with Colossus, Triton Robbins, Crazy Train, Low Miss Dangerous with Athena Kozel, Plain Crazy, Montana Robbins, Terminal Velocity, John Zimmer Jr., and Upro with John Zimmer. And then finally, Monster Truck Nitro Tour in Albany, Georgia, with Barefoot driven by Logan Tweedy, Carolina Crusher, Cameron Tweedy, Rampage, Tommy Veralone, with the Shredder Monster Truck with Zane Ritu, and the Stinger Unleashed Monster Truck with CJ Ritu. And now we move on to the last couple of shows we have this last weekend, and those are all Monster Jam shows. And like once again, we're going to predict our overalls. Starting off with San Diego, California, we have 2 shows, I believe, this weekend. Let me look real quick.
Yes.
So they're back at Snapdragon Stadium. Let's see if we get a rain show once again. 2 shows and 2 overall picks so far here. And I'm gonna start off with Nuff. What are your 2 picks here?
For San Diego, California, I'm going to go with 1 overall event win being taken by Adam Anderson. And then for the second one, you know what? Make it double. Sweep for Adam. Because why not?
That's terrible. I hate that.
You just have to live through it, man.
That's terrible. Well, here are the real predictions. Because 1, I think I'm gonna go outside the box here. I think someone's gonna take their first overall event championship on this tour, and I think that's gonna be one of a Corey Rumble and Megalodon taking home an overall event championship. He's been really good. He's been very close so many times. I think this is the weekend he breaks out, and he's gonna take home one of them. The other one, I say, you know what? I say neither Anderson is gonna take it overall. I think the other one's gonna go to Camden Murphy, and I think he's gonna take the tour lead after this weekend. That's
Really?
right. I know I'm gonna be wrong, but I can dream.
All right, so my picks here for San Diego. Man, so I'm going to go with Ryan Anderson for 1. And like Dorsey said, I think Corey Romo is going to pick up 1 as well.
Yes, sir.
And so next up we have St. Louis, Missouri for Monster Jam. And we have the same lineup. We have 2 shows, I believe. Let me look up here. So we have 2 shows and like the same thing. 2 overalls. Nofagen, who are your picks?
For St. Louis, Missouri?
Mhm.
All right, give me Tom Mintz for one of the overall event wins. And for the second one, give me Tristan England and the Digatron.
I respect you more after that
Thank you, mate.
because, man, I don't know. Is Tyler really just gonna get two more? I don't want to say it. It's getting boring. This tour is already getting boring for me, and I thought this was gonna be the good tour. Um, uh, See, I want to say different drivers, but I don't know. It's so far Tyler has gotten 30 like 32 points or more so far in every show. And I'm going to say Tristan gets one of them. I think the JCB Digatron is finally going to get an overall. And for the other one, I'll go with I'm going to say Bryce Kenny and Mohawk Warrior.
All right. And so for St. Louis, considering this is Tom Mentz's last show home away from home, uh, so I'm gonna have to pick Tom Mentz for one. I did want to say two, but thinking logically, and like Dorsey said, actually at this point, me and Dorsey are pissed off with Gravedigger. Ban Gravedigger out of here. Get out of here. So Tom for one, and Tyler for a one, I guess. Even though we know it's gonna be like
Yeah.
two. So those are my picks for St. Louis. And so this upcoming weekend, it's not stadium, Arena Central will be in Newark, New Jersey, and we have about a couple shows here. Website does not help me out here sometimes. We have 4 shows this weekend, and who are your guesses for overall? Starting off with Knopf.
You said 4 shows, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
For 4 shows for Central, I'm going to go with Teeny Man Weston Anderson for 2 of them. Jamie Sullivan gets 1. And then I'm going to go with Brandon Telechka to get the other one.
So I'll do mine really quick because that was literally going to be my picks. I agree with Jeremy. 2 for Weston, 1 for Jamie, and 1 for Brandon Tulechka.
Now, I think we're going to see a bit of a repeat here from last week in Baltimore. I think we're going to see my picks are Weston for 3 and Jamie for 1. And then next up, we have Sacramento, California, and they have 4 shows as well. And I'm going to start off with now 4 shows, 4 picks.
4 shows. You said for East, right?
West.
Oh, West. Okay.
Oh, you said West.
I'm not paying attention. West. What kind of cup is you reading that? No, for West, I'm going to go with Can You Dig It? Brandon Vinson to get 2 overall event wins. One will be won by Tony Oaks, and the other one, Knoxville man Dalton Weiner will get it.
Man, my Dalton Widener has been pretty hasn't looked too good in the last 2 weeks, and I think he's gonna come to Sacramento and take home 2 overall event championships in that Jurassic attack. And I think Brandon Vinson takes 1, and I think a surprise that MJ Solorio is going to take his first overall event championship.
Now, I think we're going to see a bit of a repeat here again. I think I'm going to. Well, I mean, I kind of want to say 2 for Brandon and 2 for Tony. And then the last tour we have up is in the nation's capital, in Washington, D.C., at the Capital One Arena. Enough. Who are your picks? We have 3 shows this weekend.
For East, I'm going to go with Armando Castro getting 1 overall event win, the other 2 by Cody Saucier.
And for me, I think we're going to have a different winner for each show. I think one's going to be win by a Cody Saucier and Dragon. I think one of them is going to be win by Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger. And I think the other one's going to be win by Zach Garner and Wildside.
Oh,
Some interesting picks. So I'm gonna have to go with Armando for one, Cody and Dragon for one, and like Dorsey said, I think Wildside is finally gonna pick up one overall this season. So I have 1-1-1 for East, and that is about it. Now, did you guys still want to do the off the track power rankings for each truck, or just save it on for next week?
You can do it real quick
All right, go ahead.
if you want. All right. So is this gonna be just randomized, or am I just I'm just gonna read it off of my? Because I actually have a list.
Yeah, you can read it off the list.
So all right. Well, for anyone who follows my Instagram, they know that every week, I've been posting top 10 drivers by averages of their overalls. Of course, combine all their points and divide by how many shows they performed in. Right now, just to go really quick, number 10 is Cody Saucier. Number 9, Kristen Anderson. Number 8, Armando Castro. Number 7, Weston Anderson. Number 6, Ryan Anderson. Number 5, oh man, I'm having a mind blank. I thought I was going to remember this by heart. Number 5 was
Tristan England.
Tristan England. Number 4 was Brandon Vinson. Number 3 was Camden Murphy. Number 2, Adam Anderson. And number 1, Tyler Meniga.
And that is your power
Yay,
rankings.
Gravedigger.
Yeah, and that is your power rankings after week 3 for the off the track. Well, these are courtesy of Doorzy, but we'll have these on off the track each week after week. Yeah. So that is week 3. Who's excited for week 4 now?
yeah, Hot Wheels.
See, the problem with me is that I'm more hyped about the Royal Rumble than I am for Monster Jam.
No, I feel you on that one.
Rush Car.
But next weekend is a different story because I'll be at a show next weekend.
Yeah, and
Nice.
so that is week 3. And so we'll start wrapping up here. It's starting to get late for these guys. So we'll start off with Nofogen. What is your at?
You can find me at Nofogen on Instagram and YouTube. Looking forward to some car crushing carnage with the Hot Wheels tour this week. So be on the lookout for that.
And Doorzy, your Instagram.
And for my I am at Doorzy10 2Rs on Instagram. If you want to keep every week, like what I said, I'll be posting top 10 drivers averages, and also on YouTube.
All right, and then for the host with the most, I am Lane Flores at Lane_Flores2. Follow me on Instagram and at Lane Flores Murrell on YouTube. Then don't forget to follow the SDSL Off the Track account and Steel Time Sports League accounts. But that is starting to be about it. Week 3 was awesome. We can't wait what else to see. I know for sure next weekend, me and Doorzy are gonna quickly go through about the Royal Rumble. We'll see who wins that. It's gonna be exciting for sure. But in that, don't forget to follow us on Spotify and subscribe to us on YouTube at Steel Time Sports League. And also don't forget to look for some merch that will be provided down in the links below. And other than that, I think that'll be it from us here tonight. And that was week 3. Really can't wait to see what week 4 brings us. But other than that, thank you guys for coming in for tonight's episode. And this was SDSL Off the Track.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Cruising over those crush cars.